Peace be upon you. So this video aims to explain the Kiblah direction as per Rashad's instruction, which is southeast for the Americans. There's obviously the notion that you could go northeast. So I'm going to explain why that logic is used, and I'm also going to present why Rashad's perspective is, from my perspective, also applicable and true. And so we've got a globe here. This is a 3D globe, and just as a reference, this isn't a perfect example or perfect one-to-one. This is Google Earth. You can see this is America, and North Pole here is somewhere out in the sea, right? Not where this is suggesting, up here where the image is kind of stretched. This is just how the image is overlaid. But by and large, it's to elucidate a point, which is that you're above the equator here, and I'll pick a point in one of these. So I'll add this sketch. This is what I've already done. So here is Mecca, somewhere there. Again, it's not perfect, but it's to sort of highlight a point. So here you've got Mecca, Kaaba specifically, and if you draw a straight line from the points in America, it goes effectively northeast, right? This is north now, and depending on where you're sort of notioning towards, you face effectively northeast. That's what Google is saying. So the file would say the same thing. So what I've done is I've created several axes to connect one another. One is from the center of the earth to the North Pole. This is magnetic north. It's irrelevant, but it's effectively north. This is the axis from the center of the earth to the point we're checking, which is movable. Right, I'm putting it in north of United States right now. This is another axis just to connect it so that it finds the shortest path, and then finally another axis between those 2 points, right? And so the geodesic shortest path is one that follows the curvature of the earth. So this one goes like we saw earlier, right? North is slightly normal to that point. This is north. It's facing more towards northeast. So this is saying a similar thing, which is that if that is north, which it is, all the way up, if you're looking straight down on earth, normal to the surface of the earth, and you align all the faces, you get this geodesic distance being northeast. So you're facing your Kiblah from wherever you are, facing northeast effectively, and you meet Kaaba, which is the direction you're supposed to pray. However, there's this point where the soul has to cut through the earth, right? So here's the caveat. If you have all of these lines be on the same plane, so I always have to keep north upright like that, and then I move this down to the point where the shortest path, this line here, is from where you are, cutting through earth all the way to Kaaba, right? So the notion that people have is that these two are the same. If you see the way I've presented it here, they both head towards northeast. Maybe my angle isn't perfect, but the point remains. Now, the bit that will make it clear is how you define west, and that's important. So what I've done is I've created 3 planes here. I'll go one by one. This plane is a cut across the center of the earth, and it highlights north to south, right? Wherever you cut the earth, this is parallel. The plane is always parallel. It doesn't follow the curvature of the earth. So for example, if you imagine earth is like this, and I draw a line and I cut the earth, if I cut it this way, I will effectively get an orange slice, right? But instead of what is being said is that you must cut it such that you have a circle. Every cut results in a circle, thinner and thinner slices. So if I cut it following the curvature of the earth, I will get an orange slice. But that's not how north and west work. Sorry, north and east works. So the conclusion that we had when we looked at it in this manner, what happened is we had the plane normal to the points. So this is north. This red plane right now is north to south. And then if I unsuppress this plane, this is normal to the 2 points. So these 2 points are where you are and where Mecca is, or the other side of the earth. If I cut a hole, let's say I cut a knife through the earth here, that's what that plane is. This is normal to the points. And what would happen is if I create a cross section between these 2 points, hold on, let's try that again. One normal, 2, and then I'll do another cross section here, which is, sorry, one north to south and one normal 2 points, and I'll reverse it. This mirrors the understanding of what people say, whereby the Kiblah, according to science alone or physics or however the term is defined, is northeast according to this calculation. You can see that I've cut the plane at an angle. One, from the right of the earth, I've just cut the earth in half. That gives me north, that gives me south. But instead of cutting to get west by cutting each of the planes down here, I've cut them normal to the shortest path, which is this line across the earth, and the geodesic arc length, which is this one here. So you'll see what happens is in this position, I'll showcase it here. This isn't quite right. I need to reverse each one of these. Edit, flip. No, actually, no, that's fine. It's this one that's wrong. This needs to go that way. That's better. So the reason I did that in a different way is because I want to calculate the mass of this, minute earth. And if you look at it, this has a mass of 4 kilograms. It's a lot of earth left, right? So north would be here. Yeah. North would be here. West would be here to the way that you're cutting it, right? So east is here, and then that would be northeast. So bear that in mind. This is 4 kilograms. Now what we'll do is we'll go back to the default. Then I'll explain the east to west plane. So this is instead cutting through the earth, right? Perpendicular to the plane of the north-south plane. So you've got in red, still north to south. You've got in green, east to west. And this is always perpendicular. The angle between these 2 planes is always 90 degrees, right? Wherever I pick my point, this will always be true, right? The other angle that we cut just now, we cut normal to the points. This is no longer normal to the points. It's normal to the north-south plane or pole, right? That's how you arrive at west and east. So this is how we've arrived at this plane. And then what we'll find, if we chop it again, let's chop it in half there, reverse that, we'll do another chop, and I'll select the east to west, reverse that. What you'll notice is that the amount of earth available is less, right? Because I've cut the earth in half from the middle to the right. That part of the earth is gone, and instead of just cutting 50% of the earth up to the normal plane here, I've cut it normal to the plane of the north-south pole here. So west and east is always normal too. So I've cut it up, right, from the point that I am at. If you look at it from this perspective, then you see that the geodesic path is slightly above east. You can see it here. This is going up and then around. This one is going down through the earth. You see that? So I've just cut the earth from this side to the right, then from the bottom up to the point where you are in America, wherever you may be. In this instance, if you were in this position, the prayer direction is southeast. And that's east, this is south. And the reason we arrived at that is we cut normal to the north-south pole. And what you'll notice is the mass of the earth is different. It's smaller, or is it more? This is saying 14 kilograms. I wonder if the other one was 40. Let's have a look. So this was the original one, as we saw it earlier. This is normal too. So those who don't follow Rashad, they would do this. They would go sort of northeasterly. Volume 303 million. So this is 4 grams. Oh wow, so even the mass is greater. That's odd. And then we go to south. This amount here. Delete. Need to select. Yeah, I guess that. Oh yeah, it is less. Thank God. So this is 2 kilograms, about half of the mass, the mass of the earth as to what we saw before. So the difference is in the direction of the cut, right? Let me just elucidate that again. We have the North Pole here in blue, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a cross section just to cut out this part like so. And then instead of where the normal 2 points are, I'm going to cut out starting from down here. I'm going to create another plane slightly further out just to show you how it's being cut, right? So I'll cut this and then I'll cut this, just plane 2, and you can see me literally cutting through, right? So this is the non-Rashadian, let's call it, view. You're where you are. I've taken half the earth off, and you cut in a different angle to east-west, like so, until I meet that point. In this instance, you are praying northeast, right? I'm cutting that way, right? But the compass, wherever you are, at whatever incline, will always point west in this direction, which is why you need to cut normal 2. So we're going to do that for the second plane, God willing. I'm going to go edit this feature. Instead of make it normal to that, I'm going to make it normal to, hold on, you got to come up, you got to come up, edit this, make it normal to that. So same as we were, we chop off, hold on, I got to move this a bit further. We'll chop off half of the earth to point north, south, like so. Oh, sorry. And then we're going to cut off the lower half, but this time normal to perpendicular to the north-south pole, right? This is always east-west. What I'm cutting here is always east-west until I get to where I am, right? So you'll notice the difference in the direction of the cut. If I cut this way, I cut more of the earth to get to where I am, and I end up in a southeasterly Kiblah. And the difference is the other one, I basically ignored where west would be, and I'm modifying the angle of west based on the curvature of the earth. That's not how it works. West works whether you're at an angle or not. The distance between these two planes must always be 90 degrees, right? If this is this is north and this is east, the angle here must always be 90 degrees to get true east. I keep saying west. You know what I mean. And that's the difference. It's in how you cut it. So if you go normal 2, you cut the earth from a different direction, basically, and making sure that these line up normal to the 2 points, right? And what you end up doing is sitting on the curvature of the earth here, where you might be, and making west be a sort of a different angle to what it actually is. And if I go in this direction, I've cut it normal to the north-south pole, and I'm making it so that whatever angle or incline or curvature of the face of the earth is immaterial, because west or east will always be east, however lopsided you might be. You could be in a 45-degree angle on a mountain, for example, and east is still going to show wherever it is, depending on the kind of compass you have, I guess. And you could be sitting flat, level to the sea, east is always going to be where it is. So this is the difference. It's ignoring the curvature of the earth but following true east. And if you do so, you'll see that the shortest path following true east or true north and whatever else is southeast. And in whichever direction I move this, it's always the same, which I will try to showcase now. Just gonna hide some of these planes. So if I move this south of United States and do the same thing again, you see it's southeast, albeit less south than it was. And if I move, can I move this while it's there? Not so sure. Yes, I have to go back. If I move it, so I'll move you, let's say, to Canada, right? The shortest path is all the way around up here, and if I go cutting through the south to north pole, you're exactly southeast, whereas your geodesic path is not. And if I go normal 2, again, you're praying northeast, more northeast than you were before. So I hope that explains it. I'm not sure if it did, but the critical point is how you identify east and west, right? If you're identifying east and west based on the curvature of the earth, like we did here, then you're trying to get a slice of orange. That's not how it works. You should be cutting it parallel to the planes of the earth, and the east and west plane must be normal too, or rather perpendicular to the north and south plane, which we looked at here, right? They're always normal. That's where east always is, and that's where east always is, and that's where west always is. Hope that explains it. Yeah, that's a bit more long-winded, but I wanted to be comprehensive in my explanation.